Shawty, I'm all you need in this moment. Like my wrist, deep frozen. Shawty, want you dance on me, bust it open. Drop it low, nice and slow. We can go 24, nights like this. Keep going. Shawty, I'm all you need in this moment. In the fields where the city don't sleep. Top down, driving real low creek. Hit park, now we in the backseat. Telling me to go in real deep. Left your man, train too fast. Now she wanna put it all on me. She ain't tryna keep it low, low key. Tryna be the star on my team. Popping pills and bags. Everybody's waist. Losing track of time. Told me she don't mind. Ooh, we getting paid. Now we talking Vegas. Yeah, she down to ride. Spent it with surprise. Nights like this. Keep it going. Shawty, I'm all you need in this moment. Like my wrist, keep it frozen. Shawty, want you dance on me, bust it open. Drop it low, nice and slow. We can go 24. Nights like this, keep it going. Shawty, I'm all you need in this moment. I'm a fan, man, I wish I had a couple of more bands. Cause I'm caught up in the way you do your dance. I was leaving, but I'm making some new plans. I'm in a trance, yeah. Now I know what T-Pain felt like. Spent this cash on you, now I'm falling for you. Just one song won't do. Now I know what T-Pain felt like. All in your birthday suit, now I'm falling for you. Just one song won't do. Now I know what T-Pain felt like. Spent this cash on you, now I'm falling for you. Just one song won't do. Now I know what T-Pain felt like. All in your birthday suit, now I'm falling for you. Just one song won't do. Need your name, not the one that you be using up on stage. You a pro like you learned that in the A. Girl, that body's what I wanna entertain. I'ma make it rain. Now I know what T-Pain felt like. Spent this cash on you, now I'm falling for you. Just one song won't do. Now I know what T-Pain felt like. All in your birthday suit, now I'm falling for you. Just one song won't do. Now I know what T-Pain felt like. Spent this cash on you, now I'm falling for you. Just one song won't do. Now I know what T-Pain felt like. All in your birthday suit, now I'm falling for you. Just one song won't do. Yeah, shawty. Going up and down the pole just like an acrobat. Losing my mind when you make that clap. Spending my money till I can't come back. Yeah, shawty. Girl, I know you know what's up. I'm trying to get you out this club. Cause you got me falling in love. Now like, spent this cash on you, now I'm falling for you. Just one song won't do. Now I know what T-Pain felt like. All in your birthday suit, now I'm falling for you. Just one song won't do. Now I know what T-Pain felt like. Spent this cash on you, now I'm falling for you. Just one song won't do. Now I know what T-Pain felt like. All in your birthday suit, now I'm falling for you. Just one song won't do. Now I know what T-Pain felt like.
Hello everybody, we'll get started in just a second.
Just to get by, I've been on the grind. A lot of M's on my mind, no stopping now.
Starting in a second.
Yeah, we'll just start here and just let some people kind of come through in just about another minute or so. Yeah, well, you know what, why don't we just get started? It's already about 5:05 in Los Angeles. Hello to Los Angeles and Chicago. How's everybody doing? How you doing, Chizzy?
What's good?
Yeah, Chizzy's one of our sponsored artists here at Arturia. He did our NAMM demo. He's done an artist video with us featuring Pigments and track deconstruction. We featured in the newsletter as well. Amazingly talented producer and artist. Yeah, so how's everything on your end, Chizzy? You over there at Mike House Studios?
Yeah, in here chilling, man. Got the Logic ready to go.
Ready to go?
Out. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. We have a pretty in-depth process here as far as an interview with Chizzy to understand who he is as a producer, what he's done for us in the industry, and also a track deconstruction, explaining how to do some tweaking and some sound design with Pigments, our power synth by Arturia. As you probably all well know, it's an insanely powerful synthesizer. And it comes with a sample player versus an actual oscillator, analog oscillator, and wavetable synth. It's a three-part synth, and it's a very powerful, very powerful synth. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and by the way, at the end, we'll go ahead and let you request three-month NFRs for Pigments, and yeah, we'll go ahead have a free NFR for you. And a Q&A at the end. So cool. Well, thanks, Chizzy. What was your introduction into music, man?
Yeah. Right into it. So I would say probably in middle school. I mean, I've always like listened to music and everything. But when I first started like getting into music was in middle school. I started playing the trumpet. So I was in band, and I literally played in band from 6th grade all the way to when I graduated. And probably around I would say probably like 10th or 11th, probably like, yeah, my 10th grade year in school, I started like rapping and dabbling with making beats. And me and my homies, we started a rap group, and we started like just rapping. And then we was finding like these beats online. And then we actually, my parents met this guy that was cutting our lawn. He happened to be a producer. And so my parents connected us with him. And so we went and got into the studio with him, and we recorded our first song. And then we was like, yo, this is like fun. But we also had to pay for it. So when it was time to do another song, it was like, yo, we don't have the money to pay for this. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to start learning how to make beats. And that's literally what started. I would go to like Best Buy and all these different music stores and just dabble on the keyboards, just like making stuff. And yeah, that's kind of where it all started.
Wow, very cool. And you've been producing for how long now, would you say? How long ago was that?
Ooh, that was, man, I would say that's how long I've been doing music, but I would say professionally within the last, I would say like 10 years.
10 years, okay. Okay, cool. Nice, yeah, music is a journey.
It really is.
All right, so you came to LA, right? And so how and when did you decide to move to LA and pursue music full time?
Yeah, so I was living in Atlanta. So I went to college at Full Sail, and then I left from there, and it was like either go to Atlanta or LA. And Atlanta was the cheaper route, and you know, my parents, they were in Augusta, that's where I'm from, so it was just right up the street. So Atlanta made the most sense at the time. So I moved to Atlanta, and I got a job. I was working at the Apple store out there, and literally I was taking any chance I could get. Anytime I can get time off from work, I was coming out to LA to just like network. And so yeah, I was literally working at the Apple store 8 hours a day. I'd get home, take a nap, and go to the studio, and I'd be at the studio all night. And so I took a trip to LA what was this, 2012. And I literally got back to Atlanta, and I was like, all right, I got to do something. And I literally put a plan together and quit my job to move out to LA. So I ended up moving out to LA like 2-3 months later, basically January of 2013.
January 2013. Wow. Okay. Okay, cool. So let us know who you've worked with. I mean, as far as, what led you to where you're at now, as far as the people in your career, your experience, just to kind of open up and let them know kind of a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I would say my very first big placement was a song I produced for Jennifer Lopez called "Same Girl," and it was written by Chris Brown, and that kind of spiraled into a whole bunch of other things because when he ended up writing that song, he also got a other pack of beats from me, and that turned into doing songs with him on. He released the EP called X Files. So one of the songs that was like in that, one of the beats that was in that same folder, he ended up using that, and so yeah, that turns into a bunch of different things. But yeah, J-Lo, Chris Brown, Justin Bieber, DJ Snake, Gashi, The Dream. Yeah, just a bunch of different people. Done some K-pop stuff. I worked with GOT7 and NCT and NCT 127.
Okay. Cool. All right, so tell us about your EP. Yeah, you got an EP called California Nights, right?
Yes, California Nights. So yeah, California Nights was a project that was long overdue. I pretty much, so I've always been a writer. I've always rapped, but I never thought about putting out music for myself. And then I had a song that I did called Catching Villains that went viral after being used on the TV show Teen Titans Go. So once the song came out, people were like freaking out. It's like, yo, who is this? Who's the artist? And at the time, the song wasn't actually released. It was just on the show. And so basically, I ended up going back and releasing the song officially as an artist. So this was like my first song. And people were like, yeah, we want a project. And I was like, it's not really in my wheelhouse right now. So I just kind of like sat on the idea for a minute. And then top of 2019, top of 2019, I was like, all right, the time is now to do a project. Like I just was kind of at a point where I wanted to work on something that I had control over, and I wanted to make sure that it was just like fun. And so, I recorded the project. I rented out a house in Malibu, invited my friends, and we just had fun and made music. And that was really what I wanted to do, and also be able to tell a piece of my story of, how I got to LA and then just the life of being out here.
Right. Wow. How's it working out in Malibu? You got a view over there?
Oh man, the view is crazy. So basically I went on Airbnb, found this spot that was like right on the water. And my engineer came up, and then I had my homies B-Ham, Shay, Nate, Ashley, and my homie Kevin. They all came through. My boy Kevin, he's a chef, so while we was working, he was like on the grill cooking. So it was just dope.
Wow.
Good vibes.
Okay, I think I've seen a little bit on Instagram. Honestly, I've seen.
Yeah.
I've seen
I got
a bit of a view there with the ocean and everything
the
outside of the studio. So that's something else. I'm a little jealous. Yeah. No, but okay. So what? Let's see here. What's your favorite song on the EP?
I would say I feel like all of them are like my children, but I think the one that's the most personal and favorite would be Hustle. And I say Hustle because that's kind of the song where it's the most personal, where I'm literally talking about the process of me like being at the day job, wanting to be at the studio making music, and deciding to quit, and then moving out to LA and being on Rodeo Drive and just out here grinding. I kind of summarized that into one song, and that song is called Hustle. And I wanted to approach it in a way too to make it like an anthem for anybody else that's out there that's just like hustling and on their grind and trying to get to the next step.
Right. Okay. So what was the process working like on that track?
So for that particular track, I actually did that one in Texas at South by Southwest. So I started the idea in LA, and then I kind of just like mumbled like some hook ideas, and I knew it was gonna be something about hustle. I just wasn't sure what exactly it was gonna be. And then I went out to South by Southwest, and I just seeing like everybody out there just like grinding and networking, passing out flyers and mixtapes. Like I instantly just got like inspired. And so at my Airbnb, I had set up a studio. So I literally was like at a couple shows, and then I went back to my Airbnb and literally wrote and recorded the hook and the first verse of the song while I was in Texas for that. And then I took it back to LA and finished it up.
Wow. Very cool, man. And so what we were listening to in the intro was one of your songs on your EP, right?
Yep.
Okay. And you're all over Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. Chizzy Stevens.
Chizzy Stevens. Okay. Okay. Cool. So let's talk about your song you created for the Sonic movie that went viral. How did that come about?
Yeah, so Sonic is like the very first game I ever played that I can remember on the Sega Genesis. And so fast forward, I was at a random house party and I met an exec that worked at Paramount. And he was like, yo, come by the office. So I came by the office and I ended up working on some stuff for the movie. I forget the movie. I don't want to say the wrong name. But anyways, and that's after that, he had hit me and was like, yo, we should get you working on Sonic. So I was like, all right, cool. So I got this idea started, and then I reached out to my homie Thick James. Shouts out to him. And I was like, yo, I got this idea about us like flipping the Green Hill Zone theme from the Sonic game and turning it into like a rap / like anthemic song. He was like, yo, I'm down. So I linked up with him. We worked on the song, and then once we got it done, or at least like a good demo version done, I sent it over, and my homie who was at Paramount had left. And so I basically just got, one of the emails that had bounced back, and I was like, oh, okay, well, man, I really don't know who else to reach out to. So I tried to do my due diligence on my end, but I couldn't get in touch with anybody. So I was like, well, I got this song that I think is dope. I'm going to just put it out. So literally I took I think Wiz Khalifa had just released their song that they did. And so I took a little snippet of their video and put my song on it. And I put it on Twitter first. And I just used a couple hashtags. And next thing I know, like, I'm getting all these retweets and likes and all this stuff going crazy. And people was like, yo, we want the full song. And so I was like, yo, if y'all can get this video to 100,000 views, I'll release the full song. And Sonic fans, they're so dope. They literally like retweeted and shared it till it got to 100,000 views. And so I released the full, and it went crazy. I ended up connecting with people that were involved with the Sonic movie from that. So yeah, it was pretty dope.
See, that's incredible. There's a lot to be said from thinking outside the box and using the social platform for what it's made for, right? And
definitely.
And making it yours. I'm still learning about that myself with the social game. I'm still kind of late to the party sometimes, I feel, but there's so many different ways you can kind of attract your followers and your likes, and that just goes to show that the certain processes work,
Definitely.
What was your first major placement, and how did that come about?
Yeah, so it was Same Girl by Jennifer Lopez. It was her buzz single for her album, AKA. And essentially, I had this beat called, I remember the name of it, it's called King of Thrones. And I worked on it with my brother, Ryan Matthew Tedder. Yeah. And so, literally, I did this track one day after work, and I just knew it was crazy. And then I hit him. I was like, yo, Ryan, I got this track. I think we could like kill this. And so went to the studio with him, and then we finished it up, and I just sent it out to everyone. And
Really?
I ended up connecting with this producer named Amadeus, and I don't even know how I ended up linking with him, but so I sent a bunch of tracks to him, and then he ended up sending the beat to Chris Brown, and then Chris Brown wrote this. He happened to be in the studio with J-Lo, and then they did the record, and that's how that came about.
That's cool, man. So okay, you're an artist and a producer, obviously, right? So how do you balance the two as far as choosing what to spend your time on as a producer, as an artist?
Yeah, I think you definitely need to find a balance, but also at the same time, I feel like producers should always view themselves as an artist. Like we are creators as well. We're putting out stuff. We should be putting out content of our own, whether that's beats, full songs, YouTube videos. Like I feel like that's part of our job. Like a producer is an artist. But at the same time, when I go to like jump in a mode of like working on an EP, like I literally like schedule things out. So I know, all right, the next 3 months, I'm like working with artists and producing and songwriting for other people. And then when it's time to jump into, I call it my artist bag. When it's time to jump into my artist bag, I'm like, all right, I'm blocking off the next month and I'm zoning out just on that. So it allows me to stay, in the zone.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I like how you said you should be an artist as your producer, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So you can find the pocket in the track and make sure you're not adding too much stuff. You're not adding a soundscape of just a bunch of notes. You're leaving room for the vocal and stuff like that. That I think helps in my endeavors as well, as far as learning where to bring your pockets in of music. Cool. Well, how do you stay inspired, man?
Yeah, it's been challenging lately, honestly, with with everything going on. But I'm always like, one of the things I always do is I always try to learn something new every day. So I'm always listening to either a podcast, YouTube videos, documentaries. Recent documentary that I seen. What was it? Nile Rodgers. On, I think they did it with the BBC. That was really dope. And so then I just went down this rabbit hole of going on YouTube and looking up like all of his interviews and things like that. But yeah, I always try to like learn at least something new a day. Going out, you can't go out to clubs or nothing like that anymore. But like just getting out the house, even that's a walk, or going to the beach or nature. Like I just went to the Grand Canyon. Like that just opened up, a ton of inspiration. So yeah, just getting out the house.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't been to the Grand Canyon yet. I've been to a lot of places, but I haven't been there. Was it pretty cool?
Oh man, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there in this place called Horseshoe Bend.
Okay. Horseshoe Bend. Oh, okay. Well, what's next for you, man? What's next for you in the
Yeah.
industry?
So definitely producing and working with a ton of new artists and big artists. So I can't say too much of the specifics, but yeah, definitely that. I am starting to work on or get ready to get back into California Nights Part 2. So there will be a Part 2. I'm slowly getting the inspiration up so I can work on that. And then, yeah, I'm also working on a dope new app for creatives with my partners, Jackie's Boy and Matthew Montanez. So be on the lookout for that as well.
Wow. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, Chizzy, again, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and dive into the demonstration and show, go ahead and explain a little bit about what you're going to show.
Yeah.
Just kind of like the main summary or the main, kind of topics you're going to jump into. And then we'll
Yeah, definitely. So I got a track here that one of the ways also I try to stay inspired is I'll like challenge myself to do a track in a certain time limit. And so with this one, I gave myself a time limit of 15 minutes. And I actually got the basics of the track down in 15 minutes, but then I went in and just kind of edited and tweaked. So what I'm gonna go through is show you some of the sounds that I tweaked for this. There's the macros. I went in and added some samples. Just basically like taking the presets and adjusting. Like I like to move quick, so I love a plugin that has good presets, and Pigments has that. So I'm just literally like cycling through, and then when I hear a sound, I'm like, oh, okay, that's dope, and I'll lay what I have down, and then as I'm creating, I'll hear little things in my head. It's like, all right, I want the sound to sound a little bit more like this, and go back and forth. So yeah, I'm gonna go through my process of how I did that.
Okay, awesome, man. Let's go ahead and check it out. Go ahead and play the track.
Cool. Cool. So that's the track. The kind of vibe I call this house and B. The kind of vibe I was going for. It's like kind of like a little bit of R&B with some house influences, because you got the little vocal chops in there. But so yeah. So let's start with the very first sound. So the main part of this is this sound here, the Mystic piano. Cool. So with this sound, it was, the original sound was a little bit bright, but I liked that it kind of had like a plucky type of tone to it. But I wanted to add some texture. So what I did was I went into the sample here, and I added this jungle. I just thought it was cool, so that's what I added. Now the thing with when it comes to like music, the way I always think having like organic sounding things in music just adds like a more real element to me. Like that just feels better. And so yeah, I went into here and I found this jungle sound, and I went with that. Originally, I was messing around with some of the other stuff, but with the jungle, it was just cool. So I went into here also and I changed the root note just to put it into the same key of the song that I was working. I forgot what it was in originally, but I changed the root note, as you can see what I'm doing that there. But yeah, I changed the root note so that it'll be in the same key of the song. The next thing, I also went in, as I was saying, the track kind of, the original sound was kind of bright. I wanted to tone that down, so I went into my macros and I messed with the tone here. Let's check it out. So I think originally it was like somewhere up there, and then I kind of brought it down here. I just liked that it, you know, made it a little bit darker. And then last from there, I just adjusted the release on it just a little bit so it kept like the plucky element and wouldn't be so long. And yeah, that was it on that sound. So those are my chords there. Let's go to the next sound. And so that is just kind of like a little high pad that kind of builds the track up a little bit. So on this one, let's pull this up. Okay, so yeah, and this one, this is one of those sounds. I was like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, okay, this is dope. And the things that I changed in this one was the timbre and the time. So let's put those down at the bottom so you can hear. And so with that, that's adding a little bit of like reverb to it, and this kind of just like spaces it out. And so the sound isn't as short as it was before. And had a little bit of that. And that's it. Cool. So next we have our bass sound, the biz. So originally on this, the macros were turned all the way up, and so I just turned those down because it was very bright, and I knew with this I wanted to kind of go back to having a dark tone. I think it was somewhere around there. So I turned all of those down, and then also in my effects, yeah, so I have this filter here that I put on it too to help with cutting out some of that high end. So when I take that off, you can hear it. And so yeah, I just adjusted it there, and I think this was originally like at 12. I think I got it like to there and then bumped at the 36. And yeah, that just felt good. So that was my bass sound. This next sound is kind of like this bright guitar. So let's jump into that. So I just saw the name, literally when I use this. I saw the name Miami Guitar Nights, and I'm like, all right, who doesn't like Miami Nights? So I picked this sound. I like the guitar sound, but I also wanted to have something kind of like distorted with it as well. So I went into here and I changed the I made it a little bit more plucky, and then added some like kind of like distortion. So I'm gonna go through that. So I went into here and I got this Celtic harp, and then if I go to my
Chizzy, I think we lost your audio, man. Check your lavalier, your lav power pack. Make sure it didn't turn off or something. Is it green? No? It's not green?
No.
Oh, I heard you for a second. We have brand new batteries, man. It should Huh, interesting. Wow, I hear you coming in and out. That's strange. Huh. Why would it go in and out? Okay, we have a secondary option to try here if that's not going to go ahead and jump back on. Is it red? Is it green? Huh. It's coming on and off.
yes.
Gotta love the technical
So-
stuff. There, oh. Just about there. No. Okay, try this. Go to loopback and go and let me help you out here. And on that little on the microphone, the Pro microphone, the MacBook Pro microphone on the left, the source. Turn that on and use your laptop mic and see if that works.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little noisy, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, at least we got you back, man. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
It's a little technical difficulty.
Yeah, right? Okay, go ahead and jump into it, man.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take one headphone out because it's a little latency. All right, so yeah, so we had the Miami Guitar Nights, and so in here I messed with the timbre and the time again, and so I'm gonna take so. So that's what it was before, and then I turned all of that down. Let me go back to the synth. Okay, this latency. Got it. Got it. Cool. So yeah, and then I had the envelopes here, like it was like a longer guitar sound, and then I shortened that.
Made a little choppier, a little more attack and less release.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Cool. So that's my Miami Night sound, and then the last one is a steel guitar. Play it, everything. Cool. So this was another kind of cool guitar sound, and I wanted to add some more brightness to it. So I added this sample here, added this choir, and that just made it bright. So that's without it. And then also I adjusted the filter. And that was just to kind of balance it out so it wasn't too loud. and then I had some distortion. So that's like if you want to make it extreme, but I kind of kept it just a little subtle, and I just wanted that so it cut through in the mix. And then the last thing was the space. It was somewhere up there originally, and I just wanted to balance that out so it felt a little bit more natural, and so I kept kind of about right there. And that's it. Those are all the sounds that I used in this track, and it all literally started. This idea came once I heard this original sound, and then from there I literally played those chords and just went to work.
Wow. So you're using those macros a lot, huh?
Yeah, I feel like the macros, they they kind of control the most important elements of the sound. I feel like it's kind of like I like to move quick, and so yeah, I can go in and mess around with stuff, but usually when I hit a sound, I go to the macros first and just see what that adjusts first before I go diving in.
And the macro changes per preset, right? There's
Yeah.
different parameters that are chosen to create macros, which are like the most popular, popular parameters to change and to add and mix up your and tweak your sound. The easiest way to sound design, quickly.
Yeah,
and easily.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Cool, man. Well, thanks. Thanks. Go ahead and play the track real quick while I get in touch with the Q&A and see if we have any questions here.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
Sweet.
Thanks, Chizzy. Let's take a look at some of the questions. Everybody, if you have any questions, please feel free to add them to the chat. I'm looking at my phone here to look at the questions, and it's I don't know if they're going all the way back. I know there was some questions for you, and I'm trying to locate them. So please, if you're still in the chat, go ahead and ask your questions. Give me 1 second here. Let's see what we got.
Yep.
Let's check out some of these questions here. Local chops. I'm having trouble going to the beginning. I know there was a bunch of questions at the beginning, but my phone isn't going back in time, which I've done in the past. I don't know if they changed something now. But let's see here. Yeah. Let's see. Oop, wrong one. Let's see. Question. Let's go to live feed. Oop. Where is it? Where is it?
Lost questions.
Lost questions. Trying to get to the beginning. Back to the beginning. Where is the track? Yeah, I guess it's in here. Should be live now. I'm not seeing it. That's interesting. Okay, well, okay, I got a question here. Thank you, Victor. Saving us here. What does Chizzy do to prep for a project? Does he listen to references, or does a mood set the project for him?
That's a good question. I think it really depends on who the artist or what it is that I'm working on. If it's a brand new artist that I've never like worked with, I always try to see at least what that they've done, and then I also try to create at least three ideas ahead of time. And I always just say be prepared, so you don't have to like get prepared on the spot. And so when I have these ideas, literally I'll just bring them in, and usually they'll be like, I'm doing this, I'm working on that, and they'll play like what they've been working on. And then when it's time to write, I'll be like, hey, I have these ideas. Let's go through these. Let's check them out if you're inspired, or we can just work from scratch. But usually, every time, one of those three ideas is something that they end up falling in love with. But there are times when the artist will come in and just be like, yo, I was inspired today. I want to do something like this. And so at that moment, you literally got to jump in and be like, all right, do I have some ideas already that fit that vibe? Or am I just going to come up with something from scratch? But I think I don't, when I have ideas prepared, I don't feel anxious or nothing like that. Like I'm calm. If I go to a session and I don't have ideas ready, then it's kind of like, uh-oh, what's going to happen? So yeah, I just always try to be prepared like that.
Preparation
Yeah.
is key. Then you can freestyle, right?
Yeah. It's like you feel more relaxed. You like, I know I got these ideas tucked, you know.
Right. Okay. What are your favorite filter modes on Pigments? Would you say
Filter.
modes?
Say that again.
Filter modes.
I usually just use. I'll pull it up here. I usually just use the multi, just because it's easy to adjust the cutoff.
Okay. Cool. Any other questions, guys? Um, Man, there were some really cool questions at the beginning, but let's see here. What's your favorite genre of music?
Ooh, I listen to like so many different genres. It just kind of depends on the mood, but usually it's like hip hop. But um, lately I've been jamming out to like disco. Like I was talking about the Nile Rodgers documentary. But yeah, I've been like jamming disco,
Ah,
70s
really?
and 80s has been my thing lately. But yeah, I listen to
Okay.
everything: pop,
Cool.
hip hop. Pop is when I did my Spotify thing. It showed that pop and hip hop are like my two top genres. So
Right. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I think that kind of concludes um, our interview and demonstration. Thanks so much for watching, and feel free to leave some comments, and we'll continue to answer questions throughout the comments. I'm going to go ahead and put in a request for Pigments codes for you. You can request them for the next few days as well through the comment section. I'm going to have the survey available. It's a little questionnaire, and then you put your email address, and I'll go ahead and send it to you myself in the next few days. So just be on the lookout for that. And yeah, Chizzy, thanks so much. Anything you want to close out with at all, or?
yeah, nah. Thank you guys for having me. Hit me up on social media. It's your boy Chizzy, YABOYCHIZZY.
Cool. And I'm Ian from Arturia, here in our Arturia room. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this. And any comments or suggestions, please go ahead and feel free to throw them in the comments. Take care.
Peace.